Hey folks, today I'm going to show you how to fix this TV when the problem is in the LED backlight system. This defect is chronic in this TV model, meaning it happens in every TV of this type. It's really frustrating because many people bought this TV model, not just the 50-inch, but other sizes in the NU7100 series, and they all have this issue. Shortly after the warranty expires, about 1 to 3 years depending on usage, this problem occurs where a part of the screen becomes darker. It could be on the left side, right side, or middle. You'll see a dark band in some area, and in extreme cases, the whole screen might go dark with no image at all. So how do we test it when the screen goes completely dark? This problem happens because the lighting system, which consists of these two small bars in the kit I've ordered, I'll link it in the video description. The link for purchasing these LED bars is available. These LEDs can burn out, folks. They're installed inside the panel here at the bottom, this lower part here. What happens is these LEDs that illuminate the image so we can see it when they burn out completely, nothing lights up. You'll turn on the TV, hear sound, but won't see the image because it needs backlighting, which is the light behind the screen, for us to see the image the display is showing. The display doesn't generate light in this TV. The light comes from this separate piece, which are these two LED bars. So folks, what test can you do in this case? With the TV on and sound playing, you'll shine a flashlight near the TV screen. You can use your smartphone's flashlight and then check various angles to see if there's a faint image in the background. It's more or less like this, with a small figure passing through the image like a little ghost. If you can see this image, it's a sign that the TV is mostly fine, including the board. The real problem is in the lighting system. I'm also noticing a light leak here, folks. This is sometimes an almost irreversible issue, but we can improve it. I'll be giving you tips later on how to address these problems that occur in the TV's acrylic sheet inside the panel. This acrylic sheet rests on top of these LED bars. When we open the TV for repair later, I'll show you this in practice. I'll demonstrate this to you hands-on. This acrylic sheet is positioned here to receive illumination from each LED. The sheet disperses and conducts light across the entire TV screen, ensuring uniform illumination and diffusing the light source. So folks, what happens next? When this acrylic sheet touches the LED strip, in some cases, if the LED strip burns out, it can overheat. When it overheats, it toasts and burns the heat-sensitive acrylic sheet. And because it's touching these LEDs, it ends up burning. For reasons unknown, folks, this light leak might be a crack, which is common in this TV model. Let's now open this TV, as it's tricky for beginners. Today, I'll show you a new method to open the back cover and the entire TV, because in some cases it's still set up. As you can see in my old video, I'm using the old method to open the TV back. Today, I'll show you another way I found through research and testing, which is much more practical, folks, for opening the back cover. Will save you time and prevent breaking part of the plastic on the back cover, all right? So like the video, subscribe to the channel, show your support, and watch the full video, okay? From start to finish, I'll need your help too. Now let's open and repair the TV. All right, folks, another important thing I'll show you before we open the TV is this kit I'm going to share with you. It comes with the procedure to change the power board resistor, okay? Here's the location a map of the two resistors will replace to reduce current and prevent this issue from recurring, all right? This is a correction for a common defect in this TV series, got it? To prevent this problem from happening again. Now let's proceed with opening the TV. Folks, first we'll check if the TV has feet or stand screws. If it does, we'll remove them, okay? Since this TV has no screws on the back cover, we need to unlock it to remove the cover, all right? The cover is entirely secured by a locking system, okay? Now I'll remove the feet to unlock it. All right, how should I go about unlocking the TV? I'll use a thin Phillips screwdriver and a rounded tip spatula, okay? This spatula has a blunt tip, but I'll use the rounded end, got it? Like a leaf shape, all right? These two tools are just for unlocking the back cover. So let's begin. First, I'll insert this Phillips screwdriver into this small hole at the bottom, tilting it slightly with the handle angled down and the tip angled up. I'll insert it, and what will happen here? The screwdriver's metal will catch behind the TV chassis metal. This creates a small lever, folks, to make a tiny gap here. Once we've made a small gap, we'll insert the spatula the same way, okay? Slightly angled, with the outer tip down and the inserted part angled up. We'll insert it here, and that's it, folks. It's in. The spatula is now inside the cover, between the cover and TV chassis. So what are we going to do next, everyone? We'll make a small lever motion, sliding it along and gently prying. Great. We've got 1 clip, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect, folks. 6 clips on this side, okay? Now let's turn the TV so I can show you from the camera angle, all right? The other side's the same, but we'll rotate to get the right camera angle. Now we're going to unclip this other side, folks. We'll do the same thing, inserting the small tool here, okay? Let me turn the TV like this. Great, let's go. I'll insert the small tool here. And the Phillips screwdriver, all right? There we go. Now I'll make a small lever motion. I've created a gap for the spatula to pass through. Okay, spatula's in. I can remove the tool now, right? Now we'll do the same thing here, okay? I'm going to slide it along. One, two, three, four, 5 locks. I noticed we skipped one. The 6th lock is indeed missing. 6th lock, there we go, 6th lock. There might be more here. We'll do this together along with the key. I accidentally locked one, folks. Be careful not to press here with your hand or it'll lock. At the factory, they position the cover and workers just keep pressing, locking it in place. This is to streamline their assembly line process, okay? Now, what's our next step? We're going to unlock the bottom part, all right? For the bottom part, you need to be extremely careful. You'll see soon that there are some flat cables here. In this case, it's called a flat cable, okay? There are several. They're the safes, all right? They transmit video signals to the TV screen. These cables are delicate. Don't force, crumple, bend, scratch, or tear them. We need to be very careful with these, okay? And they're right here, folks, quite exposed. We won't insert the tool here, as the locking system is different. Don't push the spatula in like this. At most, we'll insert the spatula like this. Make a small lever to pry it open. Another thing we do to help is use this key. Sometimes I don't even use a spatula, folks. I just create a gap. Insert 4 fingers. If you have sensitive hands, use gloves. Then do this. See how easily it comes off? No spatula needed, which is even safer. Let's see if the camera catches the other end. So let's insert the Phillips key, create a gap, put my hand in, and pull. I've released the bottom part. After loosening it, we'll pull a bit more because there's another locking system. We'll carefully remove this lock. I'll unlock it from the side here. Okay, unlocked. Now let's make a small lever on the left side. Oh, release the lock here. Okay, it stays here or here, but when you open the front, we'll confirm it. Look, everything's loose here too. If anything's locked, let's unlock it. All right, it's unlocked. Now up here, folks, stop turning the TV. Be careful not to press or lock anything. If it locks, no worries. Just unlock it again, okay? Let's rotate it here to show you the top part now. The top part looks good. This is the best way to open it without breaking anything. The TV will stay intact. When closing, just support the lid and press. Let's do it now. Okay, everything's unlocked. Folks, we'll do pretty much the same thing here, okay? We'll come here, create a gap, run the spatula here. Look, there's no danger because if we don't open the latch, there's no part we can damage, okay? So we put the spatula here, and we'll do the same thing, see? Oh, it was 1, 2, 3, 4. We're twisting, folks. If plastic, it'll twist and cross through. It'll unlock the steel part there. And another key on the 6th, right? Must be the last one now. 8th, 9th, or 10th. I'd skipped one. 12, 13. It must be about 13 or 14 or 12, right? Lost count here. Now this side that got a bit stuck, there, I've opened it. Great, bottom part stuck a bit. All right, folks, it's free now. The TV's back cover, okay. One of the trickiest parts of this TV is done. I'm putting the cover down here, safely stored. You can see the steel part here. There's a video where I showed how to open a gap and remove these steel parts. But I found that we don't need to, folks. The plastic clips lock here, see? They lock here and we're twisting the plastic in that way I told you about. With the spatula, we'll come slotting. Okay, so this is very simple, guys. Open it using the most practical method, the right method. Okay, so this method, ahí método mais inovador ne mais método mais rápido de tá abrindo tá agora pessoal que a gente vai fazer e aqui eu tenho que passar para vocês também alguns ensinamentos que acontecem na TV Samsung se a gente desconectar aqui pessoal esse cabinho aqui ou essa conecta a placa fonte com a placa principal. Quando a gente liga a TV no cabinho de força automaticamente a TV ela é ligada, mas não geremesta porque essa parte que vai estar inoperante, mas a fonte ela é ligada, arma todas as canções, inclusive acende o sistema de iluminação. Vou mostrar isso aqui agora. Vocês vão conectar aqui o cabinho de força, ou vocês vão ver lá aqui iluminação acendeu desse lado e desse lado aqui está apagado, ou seja, é provavelmente uma barinha que está queimada, tá uma barinha está queimada, só que a gente não vai trocar, só que queimou a gente vai trocar as duas e também vou estar mostrando vocês ou as duas resistores estão aqui, o que a gente tem que fazer a troca desse resistor para regular a tensão, tá? Ok, então vamos lá prosseguindo agora para continuar a abertura da TV Bom pessoal agora que a gente tem que fazer para a gente continuar abrindo a TV, a gente vai desconectar os altos. The speaker latch here, first let's remove it by pulling up, okay? There are rubber bands holding it. We'll press the connector latch and pull back. All right, we've pulled it back and removed one. The other one is connected to this, so removing it will take both out. I'll disconnect this too for easier access as the wire runs under others. All right, folks, so what do we need to do next? We need to remove these two supports which form the TV stand, okay? Let's remove these two brackets. Done. I always use containers to organize parts and screws, see? It makes reassembly easier and keeps things organized, got it? Now we need to remove this protection from the VCON board, okay? I'll move the TV closer to the edge here. If you're doing this, use a large workspace, folks. You'll need the space, okay? Cover it with a clean cloth, got it? To avoid scratching the TV. Now I'll use a spatula to unlock this protective cover, folks. I'll try with a spatula first. If that doesn't work, I'll use tweezers, okay? Let's get started. All right, everyone? Before we continue, I see we need to remove this connector and the wiring with the IR sensor. We'll press this small latch, okay? Press this latch here and pull to release it, got it? Now, folks, to loosen this, we'll use a thin spatula, all right? A thin spatula. Let me get a better angle for you, see? Thin spatula, we'll insert it on the side and use it as a small lever, okay? To remove this small piece here, see, it's only on one side. Now on this side, it comes off easily, see? It comes out whole without breaking. Great. Now folks, let's introduce, let me get another angle here. All right, everyone. Now we're going to introduce it, okay? A pair of tweezers, a tool similar to this one here, see? Here, look at the locks, the little tabs here, see? We'll pull the tab out of the plastic lock and lift it up. We'll do this for all of them, one after another. Got it? We'll tilt it. Keep the last one you release tilted to avoid relocking. We'll repeat this process for all the others. After that half, I thought it would be better to do this half with this tool. It's much easier with this tool. Okay, folks, I've moved all the locks. Now I'll lift in this direction, see? Don't lift it in this direction, all right? You should do it in this direction, okay? This one. Why? Here we'll detach these flat cables from the safes. We'll lift here and pull out so these tabs, see, can detach from these cavities here, see? Got it? So that's the correct way to remove this. Guys, avoid sweaty or wet hands, okay? Always work with dry, clean hands or use gloves, all right? Be very careful with this board. It's very sensitive. This is the VCOM board, okay? There are two left and right. They pass the image from the main board to the screen, got it? That's the green board there, see? So let's be very careful with this part. Next, we'll remove the flat cables connecting the main board to the VCOM board, okay? We'll unlock these plastic latches like this. Lift from underneath. See? These black plastic latches, we lift them. We'll also detach here, see? And we'll pull. We'll hold the VCOM board with our fingertip and make this kind of movement here, see? Up and down, then pull outward to remove it. Same here, hold with fingertip, move up and down to unstick and detach it. As it gets stuck over time, Pull outward to remove. We'll do the same procedure on the main board. Now for the next part, we need to turn the TV screen downward. But before that, I'll do this. I'll remove these tapes, which we'll need to loosen later. I'll do it now while it's easier. Always hold the board when handling to avoid stretching or straining the cables. Let's peel off this tape. We'll remove it completely as it won't stick again later. Let's remove them. We can use new tape later if needed. Now we'll lift the TV from the middle to avoid twisting it. We'll grab it from the middle and rotate it in the opposite direction, then place it with the screen facing upwards. Alright folks, for any work we do on the TV, we'll move it by holding the middle to avoid twisting because it has a very sensitive thin panel and any movement could crack the acrylic more or even create a new crack elsewhere, though we're not sure if the acrylic is cracked. We'll continue checking and maintaining to see more later. Now, I need to show you a detail, filming from bottom to top. At this stage, I've positioned the camera for a bottom-up view to capture the TV's VCOM part, showing how we'll release this small board so we can remove the TV screen. Let's do it. Here's what we're going to do, folks. We'll now remove the screen with filter sheets and frames together, creating a sandwich-like structure with inner and outer frames, and the screen in the middle. This method is easier as it avoids excessive TV disassembly and prevents handling the filter sheets directly. Let's begin. I prefer this method. Some remove the black part first, then screen, filters, and inner white frame. Now we'll use our fingertips to open the plastic part and pull out the VCOM plate slightly. It'll hang loose, okay? We'll do this on both sides. Alright folks, let's do the same on this other side. We'll open it slightly to move the black frame part and release the small plate here too. In some cases, folks, there's a black tape, but not on this TV. There doesn't seem to be a standard for this model. I once opened a TV with black tape we had to cut to release the white frame. This one doesn't have that. There's tape from end to end, but it's just to isolate the lower part of the VCOM board. Now that's done, we'll move on to unlocking. So, how are we going to unlock it? As you can see, the TV is in this position. I'll show you more in a moment. This is a suction cup holder I'll use after releasing the latches. I'll lift and pull the screen, but you don't need this tool. You can also do it by hand. I've already attached it because to stick it to the screen, we need to apply light pressure for it to adhere. So I preferred to put it on before unlocking the latches. The latches are on the white part, the white frame. I will unlock them one by one around the entire TV. For example, I'll start here. There are 1, 2, 3 latches. There are actually more, but the camera angle only shows these 3. So I'll insert a spatula here, folks. I'll use it as a lever on the side of the latch to release this latch, okay? We'll lever it upwards to free it. We need to do this around the whole TV. When we release this part, it might relock, but as we turn the TV, we'll loosen the top and this side to follow the curve of the locking system. Then it won't lock again. So we'll do this around the entire TV, all right? Okay folks, let's go. As you saw, I've released all the plastic latches from the white frame. These latches connect the white frame to the TV's metal chassis. I've loosened all these latches around the entire frame. If none are stuck, we should now be able to remove the screen successfully. Alright, if any part's tricky, check it out and unlock it. Some locks might not have fully released or got stuck again while handling the TV, okay? Now folks, to remove the screen by hand, just grab it here in the middle and lift. You can take it off easily without this support, got it? Here's a tip. Tape this black frame to the screen nice and tight. The frame might loosen and the screen could fall or this part could come loose. When reassembling, it might be hard to fit. This applies if you're removing it by hand. With this cover, the screen's safe, no worries. Okay, now I'm going to lift the screen bag. Remember, to remove it, just grab it with your hands. I'll use the screen bag since I have it. Let's lift it and see if it comes out. There we go. I'm making this motion to release it. Check the VCOM plate, folks. This bottom plate here. See if it's loose. Let's lift it up. The VCOM plate came off with everything. Let's place the screen on a clean bench with a towel. There it is, folks. Unfortunately, the acrylic is very cracked and also burned. Sadly, this acrylic is cracked and burned. Look here. It's burned here. See where the bar burned? It's burned and has two cracks. Here and here too. See here and here. Unfortunately, we can't use it now. Guys, we can't change its position here. We can't rotate it 180 degrees or flip the top or bottom part. It must be in this exact position, okay? That's because the acrylic it's made of is designed with a specific architecture to dissipate light from bottom to top. If you look up here, there's a part that's 100% transparent, unlike the bottom part, okay? As you can see, the screen is safely placed on the counter on top of the towel with no risk. Now we need to remove this acrylic to continue with the maintenance. Alright folks, how am I going to remove the acrylic here? I'll use gloves now because it's important not to dirty the acrylic at this stage. The acrylic must be spotless, clean. That crack and burn are already enough damage. Where the LED strip burned, I'll use gloves. Also, try not to talk much as saliva might fall on the acrylic and we'd have to clean it. To clean it, we'll use a completely clean, washed or new cloth with filtered water, okay guys? Just dampen the tip of the cloth and we'll wipe it. Where's the dirt marked, okay? Loosen the dirt, then use the dry part of the cloth to clean without marking the acrylic, okay? Don't use any chemicals, just clean cloth and filtered water, okay? Let's get started. I'll use a plastic spatula to lift the acrylic a bit here, okay? I've lifted the acrylic. See, I'll handle it carefully to avoid damage. I'll remove it with the frosted sheet, the white backing, okay? Avoid tilting or twisting it to prevent the crack from spreading, okay? This damage is unavoidable. It's already cracked, not much we can do, see? I'll handle it carefully to prevent further cracking, all right? I'll bring it in front of the camera. I'll place the acrylic down on a clean countertop here. Done. I've put it on the bench, folks. See, it's here on the bench, okay? If there's a risk of something falling, cover it with a clean towel for protection, okay? Now we're going to move on to changing the LED array. So let's get started. Folks, I've got some good news for you. The news is this. Remember I said at the start that this acrylic wasn't for sale? Well, it's now available, okay? It's being sold commercially, but it's still a bit pricey, all right? I got this one for 570 reais. From what I can tell, it's identical to the original. If it's not the original, you know? But the seller said it's the genuine article. It's well protected, folks, with bubble wrap and cardboard. It also has two films we need to remove during installation, right? There's a green film on the back and a clear film on top, which faces the display. There's a tab here for us to pull and remove it. We'll remove this tape once we put it in place. After we put it in place, we'll take off this plastic, right? This protective plastic sticker here, see? Then we'll put on the screen. There's also a manual here, folks, explaining everything. It says the beveled part at the bottom edges faces the LED. It gives all the instructions for installing the acrylic, okay? To avoid mistakes during installation, got it? So now here's what I'm going to do. Notice how badly the LEDs have burned out here, right? They've also burned this diffuser sheet at the bottom. I'm going to remove this diffuser sheet from the panel. I'll clean it up. If that doesn't lighten it or remove the yellow stain, I might cut out the yellow part. And glue a new piece of diffuser sheet from another TV. Here to fill the space I'll cut out. The piece I'm removing, okay? Now I'll secure the camera and continue. So we can see how it'll turn out. All right, folks, let's get started. I'm removing the diffuser sheet now. Placing it on the workbench. Done. Now we'll remove the two LED bars. One's good, this one's faulty, but we'll replace both. Okay, how will we do this? We'll start with each connector. It has two side clips. We'll press them in and pull it out. It should come out easily. We'll press here. Both clips in, then pull out. Got it? Just these two clips, folks. Press here and pull. It'll come out easy. Good. That's done, everyone. These LED bars are fixed with thermal tape. We'll remove them with a small spatula. A thin spatula. This part might be a bit tricky. I usually apply heat for easier removal. Let's do it. See, it's a bit stubborn. So I'll heat it with the heat gun. Don't worry about the temperature here. This bar is already damaged. But if you're doing this on fabric or carpet, be careful of the hot air. Melting the countertop fabric. This happened to me before, I'm warning you. So it doesn't happen to you. It's easier with heat, folks. It's easier. I'll change the camera angle to make it easier to see. All right, I think it's easier for you to see from this angle now. Let's go. Okay, folks, it was a small bar, as I mentioned. See here, lack of attention. I burned my countertop a bit. It's annoying, so be careful. Now let's remove the other one, folks, removing the last bar here. Alright, I've removed the last one. It's still a bit hot. We'll grab the plastic part. Now we need to remove the rest of this double-sided tape to avoid interfering with the new bar's adhesion. It's a bit tedious, but we have to remove it all. Okay, folks. Now I'll use a solvent here. You can use a thinner. I'll use this pencil instead of paint. As it's easier to remove, I'll use solvent here to remove the remaining glue, leaving the surface clean for attaching the new LED strip. Let's get started. After cleaning, I'll use contact cleaner to dissolve remaining glue. Now it's clean. I'll heat it to ensure 100% cleanliness and help with adhesion. These tapes stick better at about 50 degrees. Just a quick warm-up to dry it. After drying, it'll stay slightly warm, helping the LED strip adhere better and making installation easier. I've checked this strip. Let's see if this one fits perfectly too. Remember, the connector must face downward, lining up here with this one has an opening here with a low relief and some cavities. The bar can fit onto metal pins and tabs here, see? Let me show you a closer look. Here it is. As you can see, the bars have more low reliefs here where metal tabs will fit in from the TV chassis. Let me show you the low reliefs better. And it will snap into these metal tabs. Okay, it's fitted. Now we'll remove the double-sided tape. All right, let's remove the double-sided tape. Actually, we'll remove the protection from the double-sided tape and this blue strip. This film here, careful when removing it, folks. Don't let it fall on the TV to avoid sticking to the TV or touching it during installation. So how are we going to do this? We'll grab the tab guide. We'll place it at a downward angle. It goes into the groove, this lowered part, in this groove along the edge. Then we'll press it against the wall where it'll make contact with the adhesive. All right, folks, can't go wrong here. Be careful when pressing. Avoid the LEDs. I'm pressing here. I'm applying more force between the LEDs. It's fine to apply pressure here. We can't press hard on the LEDs or we might damage one. Then we'd have to repair the strip done. This one's well attached now. Now I'm going to repeat the same procedure on the other side. Let's go. I'm going to remove the ribbon here. There, I fitted it in place. It needs to be snugly fitted, everyone, okay? We'll press it against the wall and slightly downward, all right? It shouldn't protrude past the metal edge here, okay? Before removing the original, check how the mechanism works, okay? See how the bar fits into place. There's no mystery, it's quite simple. All right, the installation of both bars is complete. Now let's disconnect the small connector here. To connect it, just align it properly and push it in. There, you should hear a clicking sound. It's locked in place, fully inserted. Now we'll proceed with verifying the current, okay? Actually, we don't analyze the current directly, but the voltage, because by regulating the voltage, we're also regulating the current, all right? I've checked, folks. Each bar here has 19 LEDs on one side and 19 on the other, okay? It uses 4 wires. Each pair is a power channel. One feeds half the bar, 19 LEDs. The other pair feeds the rest. Each wire pair has a positive and a negative return. It powers the other 19 LEDs on the other half of the bar. These LEDs are wired in series. Each LED has a max voltage of 6 volts. But here's where the manufacturer messed up on this TV, folks. They set it to work at a higher voltage than it should. Let's say each LED is 6 volts. We don't run them at 6 volts. We give them some slack, folks. This slack makes all the difference in the TV, got it? To prevent what happened here from happening again. It might still burn out someday, but it'll take much longer. And when it does, it won't melt like it did here. What are we going to do here? We're going to do a calculation. The calculation is this, folks. 19 LEDs times 6 volts, because they're in series. So we need a voltage of 114 volts to work at maximum power. Ideally, we should work with 110 volts, folks. At 110 volts, each LED will work at 5.8 volts max instead of 6, okay? I have a tester here that shows it lights up well at about 103 volts. But I think at 103 volts, the brightness might be a bit low, slightly weak. So let me just give you a quick demonstration here. I'm going to power up one channel. Let's go. I'll power it up here. Let me unplug this connector, which might be interfering. All right, let me power up a channel here. Look, folks, I'm powering up a channel here. Checking now, the brightness looks good, okay? At 102 V, it's already lighting up well. So let's use this as our minimum acceptable voltage, okay? I've done the calculations for each LED, working it all out properly for each LED to operate at 5. 8 V, I'd need to adjust to 110 V, meaning we need to regulate it to stay between 102 V minimum and 110 V maximum. Got it? This TV, if I turn it on as is, might exceed 114 V and possibly burn out the LED strip instantly. So I won't risk turning it on like this, okay folks? I'll replace the resistors that come with the LED strip kit. These are the ones I showed at the start of the video. These here. I'll start this process. Let's see what voltage it'll run at. If it's above 110V, I'll do this. I'll increase the resistance. The LED bar supplier recommends replacing it, see? The 1R7 resistors with 3R91s, okay? A higher resistance, folks, got it? If that's not enough, I'll increase it more, or maybe putting these two original resistors in series with these to add 1R7 to 3R9, okay? Or for those with 4R7 or 5R6 resistors, right? Also doing the test. The key is to reach that voltage between 102V and 110V, okay? Minimum 102V, maximum 110V. Don't let it go below 102V or above 110V, because below 102V, the brightness will be weak. Above 110V, it'll be too bright, obviously, but it'll strain the LED bar, got it? So we need to make a sensible adjustment here, a balanced regulation to get good brightness without damaging the LED bar prematurely and much less burn and melt again, since acrylic is very expensive, okay? TV repair gets pricier, but acrylic cost may drop over time. First two videos didn't have acrylic, this third one does, okay? That's good news, but I think acrylic will lower the cost. Now let's get to work and adjust the power board. Alright, I've got the power board here. No screws on this one, okay? We'll unclip it like this. Press these two small locks here, see? And remove it. I'll keep it connected to the main board so this cable doesn't fall, keeping it secured here. How are we going to remove this board, folks? We'll grab it here, lift it up a bit. We'll press this little latch here, see, on the connector fitting that goes to the harness powering the LED strips to release it. And we'll pull the board this way, folks. Look, here we need to lift it a bit too. There's a latch here. We'll lift it slightly, release the latch there, see, and gently pull it out easily. As La is showing us, folks, these are the resistors, okay? These ones here, just like in the photo of the schematic the LED bus supplier sent us, are the 1R7 resistors, and now I'll replace them to check the voltage, alright? I think the voltage won't be too high. It'll stay above 110. So I might need to connect these resistors in series to drop the current even more. And as the current drops, the voltage will decrease too until we reach the margin we're aiming for, between 102V and 110V maximum. Alright folks, let's get started. The boards on the bench with the two resistors will replace or connect in series. Let's see if replacement alone solves it. To remove these guys, we need to look here at their orientation, flip the board over, and on the other side you can see there's some glue here which isolates and prevents oxidation on these component welds. And to remove them, we need to cut these resistors and remove some glue near them. Guys, don't change the bar without replacing these resistors, okay? Otherwise, you'll just be doing maintenance with the same manufacturer's fault, got it? We have to reduce this current. If we don't reduce the current, we won't fix the manufacturer's flaw. The customer's TV lasted about 4 years, but I think this TV should last at least 8 years. That'd be fair, right? Considering what we consumers pay for a TV like this, you know? It's a pretty expensive TV. Damn. Now folks, with the soldering iron hot, I'll apply some tin to the resistor solder to help melt the original solder. Done. Now I'll grab some pliers or tweezers, something like that. I prefer tweezers here, and I'll position them behind the resistor. Behind the resistor, see? I've placed them here to pull downwards. While I melt the solder, let's go. Alright, I've released one side of both resistors. Now folks, you can see here I'm picking it up with my finger, melting and removing. I've taken one out, now I'll remove the other one too. Done, I've removed both resistors, see? It's still hot here, okay? Now that I've removed them, I'll remove the tin to clear the way for us to put in the two new resistors. I've removed them. Remember folks, I used the same two resistors the supplier sent. And the TVs I've fixed so far haven't come back, right? The two I fixed didn't return, but today I'll do a more precise adjustment, okay? Let's see if this is enough. If not, I'll make a more precise adjustment, alright? So remember, I took out two original R7 resistors and I'll put in two 3R9 resistors. Sorry folks, 3R9. Alright, let's flip the board over and insert the resistors here. Done. I've inserted both resistors. Let me bend the leads so they stay in place. Okay, just bending both leads. Now I'm going to solder again. Done soldering. Now I'll trim the leads here. What am I going to do next, folks? I'll leave them a bit long, okay? Because I might need to make a series connection with them since I don't have resistors larger than 3R9 here. So I might need to make a series connection with other resistors to increase the resistance even more. I'll leave the terminals a bit large, but I know what I'm doing, okay? What I'm going to do here is trim them towards the track to avoid any risk of touching another spot and causing a short circuit, alright folks? There's a risk, ma'am. Alright folks, let's do a visual check. Make sure all's good. Remove any welding sparks here. Clean up. Great. It's ready to be placed and tested now to see how it turned out. It's a bit raised. Let's fix that. Bye-bye. We'll put it in place now and see how it looks. Let's fit the small board here. We'll set it back a bit with the cavities here in the TV chassis. It's slightly recessed. Let's go this direction. Good. Slightly back. All lined up here. Here's the LED bar connector slot. Also all the tabs inside the cavity entrance. We'll push the board in. All right, folks. It froze. We won't connect this connector because the Samsung TV, when powered with the main board disconnected, already sets all voltages, including those that feed the LED bus. Now I'll pause to get a power cable for the TV. Let's go. I've plugged in the power cable, but not into the outlet yet because I want to connect the time Truco first to see the voltage that will. Let's get a better angle. I'll set up the multimeter on the 200 VDC scale, pointing it at you. I'll insert the probe into the terminals to measure the voltage. I'll also do this, folks. Since I'm not sure which is positive or negative, I'll first turn on the TV to see. I'll record it, but I think it's reversed because the last one is showing a negative reaction. Let's see. Now let's do the opposite. I think it's correct now with the red probe on positive and black probe on negative. I'll reset the meter to record the maximum peak voltage. I'll turn on the lighting system for the meter to make it easier. Now I'll plug the TV in and we'll see the voltage reading. Look there, folks, 105 volts. Excellent. We don't need to make any more adjustments. These three readings are enough for this calibration. The max voltage of 105 volts is great. No need for any further changes. I'll unplug it again. It's discharging, still discharging, all right? Let's plug it in again. There it is, folks, 105 volts. Excellent. Now let's finish assembling the TV. I believe this whole process is about 60% of the total procedure. Now we just need to finish putting the TV together and do a quick cleanup of the controls. Let's get to work. Let's do this step by step. I believe this video will help many people with this common TV issue. So let's begin. All right, folks, I've decided to approach the procedure this way. To fix the slightly burnt edge of this diffuser sheet, where heat melted the acrylic and a bit of the sheet's edge, I'll try to cut a thin strip from another TV's diffuser sheet and stick it on top of this one to fix the issue. If I can glue it, I won't need to cut a piece as it'll fix it with a strip on top. Now I'll grab a piece of diffuser sheet from another TV If you don't have one, you can use a white sticker of the same color, closer to this white, to avoid lighting differences and prevent light leakage, so we can also fix this issue. All right, let's get a piece, put it on, and set up the TV. We'll at least attach the acrylic and turn it on to check for any differences. Let's get started. Okay, folks, now I'm going to cut out the burned part of this diffusion sheet. Then I'll clean it, put it on the TV, and take a strip from another TV's diffusion sheet, as I mentioned earlier, to fill in the part we're removing. As you can see, it's marked only up to here. I'll cut just this far, a bit more than halfway, okay? I'm using a piece of wood as a ruler for a straighter cut, and now I'll make the cut. All right, folks, we've reached the good part, so I won't remove any more. I'll finish the cut here. There we go, folks. Remove the bad bit, see? A defective, burnt piece. This prevents any yellowed parts from affecting the white luminosity. Got it? Now I'm placing another diffuser sheet here, cutting out the piece I need to fill that gap. All right, folks, here it is. This is a diffuser sheet from another TV that was taken apart. It's for reuse, no issues. So now I'm going to cut it. I'll make a full cut, a strip, so we can fill that spot where we remove the piece from the TV's diffuser sheet. Okay, let's do this. Done. I've cut the strip. Almost made a wrong cut, but no worries. It'll be on the inside, under the diffuser sheet, okay? So it's not a problem at all. So we've removed the flap here, where we'll fill in that missing piece, okay? Let's get started. All right, guys, now to prevent this from moving at all, it won't just avoid it, it'll stop it completely, okay? Because I'm going to secure it very well. I'll put a strip of double-sided tape here, all right? Just to hold this strip in place until we mount the TV. Then after we mount it and add the acrylic, the way I'm doing this, there's no way this can come loose, folks. It's impossible, okay? So look, it'll be really secure this way. That yellow part might not even show up in the lighting, but I'd rather do this now to avoid backtracking when mounting the TV, you know? To fix it later, I prefer to do it right away. If you don't have the burned part, that area isn't a problem at all. You can just assemble it directly without this procedure. All right, now I'm going to snap this one into place right at the bottom against the LED strip. Now I'm going to press here to stick it. There we go, folks. It's stuck. See, it's secure now. It's very firm, okay? It's really solid. Look, it doesn't come off anymore. Very secure. Now I'll put on the TV diffusion sheet. I've cleaned it and dusted it off. I'm going to place it on top now. Okay, it's in place. When we add the acrylic, it'll press this down and seal it. It'll touch here and seal everything. Got it? So There won't be any issues. It'll all be perfect. All right, let's do it. Now I'm going to put on the acrylic, folks. This is the moment of truth. Let's add the acrylic and see how it turns out, okay? Here we go. All right, everyone, grabbing the acrylic now. I washed my hands here, okay, folks? My hands are already clean to avoid leaving fingerprints here. The acrylic is right here, see? I'm following the guide here, okay? It's the part with bevels as per the manual for the LED strip, the LED bus. Now, folks, I'll remove this sticker, all right? This protective film. This part will face the back. The back of the TV, right? Of the diffusion sheet part. That is facing down, right? See, I've removed the film. Avoid getting dirt here, folks. Between these parts, okay? Let's lower the acrylic now. Put it in position. How will I do it? I'll go down here and touch the LED bus. And I'll lower it carefully, folks, to avoid clicking this acrylic, okay? There, I've lowered it, see? Now let's center it, fitting it in. Everything's in order. We can touch the top for now, it's protected. So we won't dirty the acrylic yet, okay? Oh, it fits perfectly, folks. Now let's do the lighting test, like this. But there's also a catch, everyone. We need to check if the adjustment I made will work well, okay? Let's remove this small piece of the frame here, see? Once we finish assembling the TV, it'll look different, all right? It looks one way now because it's apart and slightly warped. The chassis is quite flexible, you see? After assembly, it'll be stronger and more structured. And it will be properly aligned. We always check for dirt, folks. I've been removing any dirt, okay? To avoid dirt inside causing dark spots on the panel. It's a crucial step. Now I'll do a quick test, powering the LED strip to see how it looks. I noticed a mark from the seam line here, folks. So here's what I'm going to do. I'll place this film over the background diffusion sheet, okay? Just to test it out. So I'll do this test now to see how it looks. I removed the acrylic again and put a strip on top, see? I added a strip on top and think this will be better, okay? I kept the white strip at the bottom, added another on top, okay? Now I'll assemble it and add the acrylic to check the result, but we'll only know the final look once we finish the whole TV, all right? So let's continue with the assembly. I'll put the acrylic back to where we were and keep building the TV. All right, let's grab the acrylic here. Ideally, folks, we'd have one, right? Let me wipe this down first. It'd be great if we had a spare diffusion sheet to swap, you know? It'd be nice if it came with the back acrylic, this piece here. I'll suggest to the seller to see if he can get this foil for us. It'd be much better, okay? We wouldn't have to reuse parts, right? This piece is damaged. No restoration possible. We just replace it directly, making it perfect like new. Let me wipe this. These specks are falling. Got to remove them. This needs to be very clean, okay? Clean hands too, folks. Remember that. I'll need to get gloves. It'll be better. I'm going to grab a glove here. All right, let's continue with the TV assembly. Now I'll remove the film from the top of the acrylic. The manual says there's no film, but there is, okay. We'll remove this film. Okay, film removed. Brand new product, folks. It has the same texture as the original, see? I really believe this is the original one. We need to make sure it fits snugly with nothing sticking out. It must fit perfectly inside the recess, okay? No edges should protrude. It must be within the rubber stops. Guys, check this part carefully before placing the screen, all right? This is really important. Okay, it's in now. Make sure it's fully inserted. It's well inside, folks, below the TV edge, within the rubber stops on all sides. Now we're going to put the screen on, everyone. I removed the screen with a suction cup, but I'll show you how to do it without one. Let's go, watch this. We just need to be careful with this V-con board, okay? To avoid damaging it. We must ensure it's aligned correctly to fit, or we won't be able to. Only start locking it in when you're sure it's in the right position, or you'll have to undo and redo it. This part can be a bit tricky, okay? So take your time and be patient. Be careful not to open this when pulling, to avoid the screen sticking out of the frame. Position it without damaging the TV's trim or frame. Everything's almost perfectly aligned now. This side's aligned. Now let me adjust the other side too. Great, this side is aligned as well. Let me check the bottom now. The bottom seems to be all set too. And the top is aligned as well, folks. Now we just need to tighten everything. See, it's locking in place as I tighten it. I think we should start by securing the bottom. All right, the entire bottom is secured. I'll fasten the right side now. Now for the top. Okay, the top is secured. Let's flip the TV over to assemble the rest. We'll connect the boards and run a test. Before finishing, I'll test the video cable to check the image quality. I'll do a quick test to see how it looks. If all's good, we'll continue assembling the TV. If something's off, we'll have to open it up to fix it. There's the diffusion sheet issue, which ideally we'd replace, but we restored it instead. Let's see if the restoration worked well. I'll bring the camera over to turn on the TV and check the image. Folks, success. The image looks excellent. I'll show you an RGB test so you can see. Image is normal, colors are bright and uniform. I'll finish setup and show a program later, but the image is great. All procedures were successful. You can follow these steps, but now I'll finish the TV assembly to wrap up this tutorial. I'll show the final result with a cool image and video on TV so we can see how it looks. Okay, folks? Let's get started. All right, folks, let's continue with the TV assembly. Now I'm going to put on the VCon board protection. Remember, I've already connected the LVDS splash cable from the main board to the VCon board. Everything's connected and in place. Now I'll use tape to secure each VCon, following the manufacturer's assembly since we removed the old tape. I'm applying Kapton tape to secure it. Great. Here too. Okay, Kapton tape is applied. Now folks, I'll attach this metal protection. In the same position we removed it, but in reverse. We'll now fit the top tabs into the cavities. I've fitted the tabs into the cavities. Now I'm going to lower this, folks. Let's lower it. Here we go. All right, now I'll lower it and lock it into the black frame carefully. Easy does it. It's lowered. Now keep pressing as it locks into place. Next, it's locked. Now I'll place this here. I should have done it earlier, but no worries. The sensor, folks, let's take a look at it. No problem, it can be inserted later. I'll move it out a bit. There's a cavity on top, just outside the workbench. It's locked. To remove, do this. To insert, use these 2 points. See these 2 tips here? We'll slide it in from top to bottom like this. There we go. Push it in until it locks. Now let's connect the connector. We'll route it under the LVD's cable. For better organization, let's add some tape here. This is loose, so we'll secure these cables better. let's also secure this other one here. So it's not as loose as it is now. All right, folks, let's attach the TV support structure done. I put one on. Now let's screw them in. I see a screw's missing. This TV was idle waiting for a part. I'll look for that screw to replace it. Got it, folks. Found an identical screw to put in. Let's screw this support in. Now, screws go here and here. I know from the marks, despite the time the previous screw left friction marks on the metal that serves as a reference point for us. All secured. Now for the speakers, this one goes on this side. This other one has a connector that fits into the main board. Obviously, let's plug it in here. Perfect. Now let's connect one speaker to the other. Just the cover and TV stand left to go. Before finishing, let's check all connectors are secure fitted. The plates are well fitted. Everything's in order to avoid having to open the TV again. All right? Now let's put the cover on, remember folks. I've already cleaned the cover. Clean the inside of it while you're at it. Now I'll position the cover here in the right spot, all aligned. I'm locking it in. It'll lock in perfectly, folks. All right, TV assembly done. Now let's install the TV feet to stand it up and do the final test. It was tough, but with these video tips, you'll have less trouble than I did. It's worth it, folks. It's worth fixing the TV. Doing this, it'll likely last longer than from the factory. When it burns out, it won't melt again. Just change the acrylic. Then only the LED strip will burn out. So for the next maintenance, you'll only need to replace the LED strip, no need to change the acrylic or restore the diffuser sheet, and you won't need to replace the resistors as they'll already have the 3 R9 resistors installed, which will correct the high current issue, reducing it to avoid all the trouble we had. Got it, folks? Now I'll position the camera here and play an image so we can test the TV's picture and sound. All right, everyone. There's another successful repair, this time with a more up-to-date video compared to the one playing now. This video you're seeing was my first one, and it's become one of the most watched videos on YouTube for this TV model. But this newer video, besides covering the acrylic and diffuser sheet issues, that wasn't in my other video playing there, but it's still a more complete tutorial with better updated techniques, especially for opening the lid. And there you have it, folks. The image is excellent, no issues at all, with great results that should last. That's all, folks. I hope this has been really helpful to you. I know the video's long, but everything I've shared are crucial details for your success. I've shown what worked, what didn't, because what went wrong for me might happen to you, and now you'll know how to handle these situations that didn't go smoothly for me, but might for you. Folks, if you enjoyed this video and think my effort to help others was worthwhile, I'd really appreciate it if you could give this video a like. To subscribe to the channel, I'd like to ask you to share this video if possible with a friend or acquaintance who has a TV with the same problem. Please watch the video from start to finish, as this helps with YouTube's algorithm. This is how I can keep making these videos for you and keep improving. I want to finish setting up my lab to make even more professional tutorials and service videos for you. So thank you in advance for your attention. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If I've missed any details in the tutorial, folks, I'll add them to the video description. So always check there. Look at this excellent image quality, folks. It's great, and the working margin is now perfect for the LED bar at 105V, though it could go up to 110V. V would work fine with each LED operating at 5.8V. It's at 105V, so it'll work under 5.8V. Folks, this is why we need to know what we're doing. Adjust it correctly, not just follow instructions blindly. We must understand our work to ensure we fix the issue and it's working as intended for the TV's operation. Got it? So that's it, folks. I hope this was really helpful. Don't forget to like the video. We're in this together. Good luck. If you have questions, ask in the comments. I'll try to respond. Thanks, everyone. Until next time. Best of luck.